Hey Wendy, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses with anti-glare coating for your new RayBan 5206, although don't take my handwriting for it. This is the RayBan 5206, color 2445 in the 52 eye size. Of course, that color is the dark Havana with the green. Of course, let me unbox this. This is how I receive it from RayBan. Of course, it's your RayBan case, your RayBan cleaning cloth. We'll set that down over there. They put a little plastic sleeve on here to prevent the temples from rubbing together during shipping. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. But this is the tortoise with, hopefully the camera will pick it up, just very ever so slight, a green interior on a brown tortoise exterior frame. There, now we can see the green that's in there. Now we can see the color. But yeah, it's got the RayBan logo on the side of the temple. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to take out your demo lenses. One of them happens to say RayBan. Let me pop those out and put them on the counter. Of course, you will receive all the original merchandise that RayBan sends to me. And I'm going to take your frame and put it into my $30,000 Santanelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger. And the stylus is popped up to trace the shape of the right lens. Then it's going to move over and trace the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic RayBan from me, and you will see free, clear, single vision prescription or non-prescription fashion lenses. In this case, Wendy, yours are prescription, and you also upgraded to the anti-glare coating to eliminate glare when driving at night. And of course, there's also the cosmetic effect. But I'm going to pull your shape up onto the computer. I'm going to type in your pupillary distance for your right eye. Next to my thumb, it is 29.5, so I'm going to type this into the computer, 29.5. And your left eye is 29. Let me program, oops, I'm still on the right. Bring that down to 29. These are polycarbonate lenses that I'm going to cut on the soft cycle due to the anti-glare coating. And this is going into a Xyle frame, which is just an old school name for plastic. So, let's go ahead and cut some lenses for your beautiful new RayBan frame. So, let's see. You are actually one of the rare people who have the same prescription in both eyes. You are -3 in each eye, so it doesn't matter which one's right, which one's left. But I'm going to take your lens out of its protective sleeve, put it into my Marco 101 lensometer. I'm putting the power drum at -3 to verify that that is the correct prescription. And it is. And what I'm doing is I've moved your lens till, essentially I've got a crosshair. I have a scope, or rings I'm looking through, and I'm putting your optical center dead center in front of me. And of course, I put a red dot on there you can't see, so I'm going to darken that for you. And let's go ahead and make this one the right lens. Put an R on there, although it really doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same thing for the other lens. Put it in there, find the optical center of your lens, which is the thinnest part of the lens. Your lenses, as you know, are bowl shaped. They're thin in the center, thicker at the edges. So if you actually got a large frame, that's how thick your lenses would be. Of course, these are special lenses too, but I'll get to all that a little bit later. This is a block, and as I like to call it, this is a Jenny from the block, but I need to attach this to your lens. This is what's going to hold it in place while it's cutting inside the machine. So I need to get a double-sided adhesive sticker, and wouldn't you know it, 3M, the same people who make post-it notes, that's right, the people who came up with this, and where would we be without these things? But they make a double-sided adhesive sticker, so I'm going to put the block into my blocker. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick that onto the block, pull the tape away, and now essentially here's another scope that I'm looking through. Essentially it has a vertical meridian and a horizontal one, and I want to get this red dot that I put on your lens dead center in the middle of those crosshairs. And of course I can't see what I'm doing, only you can see it now, hopefully. So let me stand up and I'll look through it. You're just going to have to trust me on this one. Actually, you don't have to trust me. There you go. There's the red dot, dead center of the target. I'm going to do the same thing for what I assume to be will be the left eye. Again, it doesn't matter which lens I put where. There's no way I can mess up cutting your glasses. So I'm going to have a couple drinks while I'm doing it. Is that all right with you, Wendy? I'm just kidding. I shouldn't joke about that stuff. Okay, the anti-glare coating does many things, but one of the positive things about it is that it is hydrophobic, meaning that it hates water. I only say that in the sense that you never again ever need a liquid cleaner to clean your lenses. Because of that coating, you will only need to use the cleaning cloth that I will provide, and of course there's the RayBan one. Just like when you wax your car. By the way, I'm putting another sticker on the backside because it does make it a little bit slippery while cutting. The anti-glare coating does, so I'm going to put one more sticker on the back of the lens just so it stays in place while cutting. And then I put it into the chuck and hit start. Of course, I don't like to call this the chuck. I don't know the machine well enough, so I call it the Charles. And when I get really friendly with it, I'll call it Charlie. But these calipers are going to come down and they're going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame. Free bad humor with every pair of glasses, by the way. But it's going to trace the shape of your frame to make sure that the lens is large enough to fit in there. Starting on the rear surface, the back surface closest to your eyelashes, which is the concave side of the lens. Now it is moved over to trace the convex front surface of the lens. All the while measuring the thickness to know exactly where to place the bevel so it will fit best inside the frame. The actual cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. It's that lighter color wheel that's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper. And this wheel in the center with that channel, that valley, that's what's going to cut the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the frame. I will have to close the door, but I just want you to see as your prescription lens touches down on the cutting wheel. So your lenses, speaking of which, are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. The other nice things about polycarb, it is virtually unbreakable. They are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into them. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. The other nice thing about your lens is it's also an aspheric lens. Aspheric literally from the Latin means not round or not spherical. A spherical lens is completely round like a basketball in every direction. That's what gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance in cheap glasses. An aspheric lens such as this is much flatter. It starts off round and then flattens out dramatically, which is another way to thin the lens out, so this is going to fit perfectly inside the frame with no edge thickness. When you buy glasses from people online, they charge you for the thicker plastic lenses. Then if you want the thinner, lightweight, unbreakable polycarbonate lenses, you have to pay an upgrade for that. And then if you want the aspheric designs, you have to pay another upgrade for that. So this is someone else's third tier premium lens. You get this for free when you buy the glasses from me. The only thing you did was pay the upgrade to, where's my PD stick? There it is. The anti-reflective coating, the hydrophobic coating on both sides. What anti-glare does is eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain. But from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, all the above. Kids, never put your hands inside machinery while it's cutting. But if you notice your lens is completely flat, just like a nickel, I could take it out and put it on the counter and it would stand up on its own. Now it has moved over to the bevel wheel and it's putting the bevel, which is a knife-like edge, all the way around the lens. And one thing you also will notice is the polycarb cuts dry. There is water running in the background, but that's just to collect sawdust and some of this optical debris that I keep picking off your lens. Ooh, that's a good piece. Look, that's a gizzard. That's got a neck bone attached to it. But it's just there to collect the dust where plastic or Hindex plastic cut wet. Now, having said that, there's 2 water jets, one in the front, one in the rear, that will kick in for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. Look at that, right on cue. And that's just to wash away some of that debris that I was picking off the edge of your lens. Ooh, there's another long strand right there. That's a good piece right there. So this tells me it's less than 20 seconds to go in the cutting cycle. But that anti-glare coating, I mentioned, it is just like it's 3-in-1. It is anti-glare, as I explained. It's also an anti-reflection lens. I'm going to take another lens that does not have that coating, and you can see how the lights from the fluorescent, or the reflection from the fluorescent lights above, reflect onto the lens. You don't get that on your lens, so when someone's looking at you, they're looking at their reflection, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. Or if someone takes a picture with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up. Essentially, it just makes for much better eye contact. And then the third feature within the anti-glare coating is that they come with the best scratch protection in the business, because it's a $1 million machine that takes 24 hours to apply that anti-glare coating on your lens. So they follow up with the strongest scratch protection they can put on any lens to protect that $1 million investment. So I'm taking your lens out of the chuck. the Charlie, excuse me, and I'm going to dry your lens off so it's not slippery. Now, just like me, you have some rough edges, at least this time around your lenses, so I want to smooth that off with my handstone. And my handstone is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, and my finger gets warm due to the friction, but it's that friction that allows me to apply what's known as the safety bevel. All I did essentially, in layman's terms, is melt those rough edges. And that white powdery substance you see is called Schwarf. May the Schwarf be with you, except it's not. I'm going to scrape it off your lens and drop it onto the counter. And I do this so much that I have worn a V-shaped bevel in my thumbnail from scraping the edges of lenses. So Wendy, you're the reason I can't have nice thumbnails, at least on this thumb. On this thumb, maybe I can, maybe I can. But I just want to make sure it's all off your lens. And once it is off your lens, it falls onto the counter, so I carefully, very neatly, and very professionally collect it into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. Because this is where I say, kids. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So if you grow up and you want to make a mess, kids, you gotta stay in school. So in order to see if your lens fits, I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first. Using my thumbs, I press down at the nose, and there's still a little bit of give, so I want to pop that back out. And I'm going to take a little bit more off the lens. I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter and hit retouch. And this time your lens is going to skip the cutting wheel and go straight to the bevel wheel. And it's going to take 1/10 of a millimeter off. And to all my friends in America who have no idea what a millimeter is, it is the distance between my thumbnails. So I'm going to take 1/10 of that distance off, going all the way around the circumference of your lens, all the way around until it is 1/10 of a millimeter smaller. Then we'll see about getting it mounted into your frame. The golden rule: you can always cut more off of a lens, you can never add it back on. This is true for anything that you're cutting, a piece of wood, piece of steel. So I programmed the machine to start a little bit large, and then I'm just going to work it down to the correct size. The other reason I could have forced it in, the reason, there's a couple ways. I could have used heat. This is just a bead pan that has many glass polished beads, and essentially this is like a crock pot that stays warm, and some people will use this to soften the plastic so you can pop the lens in. I don't like to. I only use that to soften the plastic to adjust the temples behind the ears. The reason I do that is I want it to pop in very easily, because if I were to force it, if the lens was too large, it would cause your frame to stretch. And then over time, it would cause your frame to, what we in the business called roll, R-O-L-L, which if you think of your lens as a gutter, because it's almost shaped like that, a large lens will force the bottom to roll outwards. And then your lens, well, not only would be an ugly cosmetic blemish, but your lens would be poking out the bottom because the frame just has nowhere else to put it. And that's just an ugly cosmetic appearance, and because I'm a one-man show and I'm actually the lab guy, which is rare, because 95% of all optical shops don't cut their own lenses anymore. Because finding someone is trained and talented and bright and witty and charming and who's willing to work Saturdays on a holiday, you know, you just don't find guys like me. But yeah, that's why I'm in shorts today. Enjoy it while it lasts. Every other video I'm wearing pants. But hey, you caught me on a Saturday. So I'm going to scrape that off the lens. When it's on the counter, wipe it on the floor. Kids, stay in school. How many times I got to tell you? So let's go ahead and see if this fits. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first, and then using my thumbs, it pops in much easier that time. So let's go ahead and start cutting your left lens. I'm going to flip that over to L, which stands for not right. And then I'm going to hit start. And just like before, the calipers are going to come down, but this time they're going to trace the left side of the frame to make sure that your lens is large enough to fit into the frame, and it is. This is just a routine operation. Again, it measures the thickness of the lens at every circumference point going all the way around it to know where to place the bevel, which is the knife-like edge, so it's going to fit inside the frame and you have no edge thickness. That is great cosmetic value. Of course, most people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to program the equipment. They don't know how to order the lenses to begin with. It's going to give you the best finished product. But I am a licensed optician here in North Carolina. This is a piece of cake. Until you get the bill, then it's very difficult. No, what am I talking about? Your lenses are free. That's how easy it is. You just paid the upgrade to the anti-glare. The only other upgrade you did not choose is the transition lenses that turn dark when you go outside. But This block is no longer needed, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Look how strong I am. Just rip that right off. Pull the sticker off, throw that away. I'm going to go ahead and remove the blue sticker that's on the back since it's not needed. And when I say that your lenses are the hydrophobic coating, when you wax your car and then it rains, the water beads right off. That's what any liquid cleaner, anything else is going to do on your lens. It's just going to bead right off your lens, which is nice. If you're out in the rain, it's not going to stick on there. I'm just going to dry everything off, the majority of that. So out of force of habit, I always double check to make sure that your lens is cut right. But since you have no astigmatism correction, which means the lens have to go in a certain way, yours is a piece of cake. Now I am going to leave that red dot on there because I want to measure your pupillary distance in just a moment. But your prescription, -3 in both eyes. By the way, this frame sells for $160. You paid $40 for the anti-glare coating for a total of $200. And of course, my receipt, my itemized receipt, gives you all the V codes so that you can turn my receipt. It also has my federal ID tax number on there, which is the most important thing about it. But I provide the V codes where you can turn this into your insurance company for reimbursement, as well as if you have any unused health savings account flex dollars, my purchases will go towards that with my receipt. But your prescription, -3 in both eyes. The unit of measurement in the optical field is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, and it goes in quarter increments starting at 0, also known as plano, which is non-prescription. Goes up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on till we get to 3. So in quarter steps, you're on the 12th rung of a ladder with your prescription. When your glasses are off, everything you look at is way larger than it should be. So your lenses will minify down to the correct size. And I'm sorry to use the word minify, but it's the opposite of magnify, even though minify is not in the dictionary. It's not in the dictionary next to gullible. You can believe that too. But no, as you can see, the words behind me, as I move your lens over it, they actually get smaller. So you actually need 12 steps of minification in order to get everything the correct size. That is what your prescription is. If you had astigmatism just makes fuzzy edges. So this first number gets everything the correct size that it should be. If you had astigmatism, also known as cylinder, astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike with the letters P and F. It's fuzzy edges. So there's two components to a prescription. The first number gets everything the correct size. The second number, the astigmatism, is the fine-tune knob to take away the fuzzy edges once everything is the correct size. So with the water jet spraying, that means we're on the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. When it's done, I'll take it out, get the lens mounted. And then, Wendy, I get to start my weekend, my Labor Day weekend. When I say start, that means I'll be working Sunday and Monday on the website for 12 hours, but I'll be doing my 12 hours of work from home instead of here in the lab. So to me, that's like a vacation. But I just have to upload product. Anyone who's been to my website yet still has seen it as very primitive. I do thank you everyone for their patience while the new website of freeprescriptionlenses.com is being built. Real quick, back to the handstone for the safety bevel. But I'll be adding more and more content, more and more RayBans. And with every week, I'll add my collection from Polo, from Gucci, Prada, Versace, every type of frame that I can get, including Coach and many, many others. So again, I scrape that off your lens onto the counter. And this time, my wife hates it when I throw it on the floor. So in her honor this time, I'm going to throw it in the trash can. But I want you to see why I don't throw it in the trash can. I want you to see how far I have to go to do that. So I'm going to put everything in my hand. Now follow me as I go to the trash can. Now see, who has time to do that in a work day? That's why it's just so much easier to wipe it on the floor. Honey, I would clean up, but you saw how difficult and how far I had to go to do that. So let's go ahead and get your left lens mounted. I'm going to tuck it in on the outside corner using my thumbs. I press down at the nose and it snaps right in when the block's not in the way. I'm going to go ahead and take this block off with my sheer strength again. Look at that. Pull that sticker off. That's a sticker, you know. That's how strong I am. Sorry, the clown gets to have fun while he's at work too, you know. So I apologize for being silly. I love what I do, so I take my work very seriously. I just don't take myself very seriously. So I'm going to just verify that this is a -3 prescription. -3, so we are dead on there in both eyes. Your pupillary distance, 29 and 29 is 58. Of course, you're 29.5, so your prescription is, your PD, your pupillary distance is 58.5. So I'm going to turn the card around. I'm going to take my PD stick, place the 0 on your right lens next to, well, my thumb, and then when we look on the left lens, we're getting 58.5, so that is cut perfectly. The last thing I want to do before shipping these to you is get the dots cleaned off your lenses, and this is where I take the time to explain to everyone that 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustment. So if you get these and they're too loose, or they're too tight, or they're high on one side or the other, that's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. But I'm going to go ahead and get them in standard alignment, which is also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. It's in those 3 stance. I flip it over, press down. There is no wobble. Put my cloth away. I close each temple to make sure that they overlap perfectly, and they do, and the same amount of tension on each spring hinge, and there is. Of course, I should be cleaning that. This is your new cleaning cloth from my website. It's got my phone number, my address, all the contact info you could possibly need. But that's that. If anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Wendy, I hope you enjoyed watching me make prescription glasses for your, let's see, I can read it off of here, your RayBan 5206, color 2446 in the 52 eye size. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.